ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the People's President right here. Well, this is season 2, episode 2, and in our earlier episode, let's just give you a quick run through of what we did in episode 1, where we met our contestants, our 10 contestants, who have introduced themselves to you, but today is the day. Well, this season is not all about how well you can talk, all right? We'll put you to the test. These contestants are going to meet experts in many different fields that will put them to the test. We'll also put them before a panel of judges. The judges will decide. 40% of the judges' decision will matter on who stays on the show. The 60% is up to you watching us. You can vote, participate live, and make sure that your voice is heard as the People's President is actually picked. Well, today, I'm very excited to let you know that our candidates are presenting their manifestos to you. You who will decide, you who will keep them on the show. But before we get to our candidates, first of all, let's meet the panel of judges that will adjudicate these candidates.
Thank you so much. My name is Mata Wakumelo. I'm an economist by training. I've done research related to policy on topics such as public finance and public debt management in Zambia. I've also served in the past as coordinator of the CSO Data Alliance. I've also written journal and academic articles on the implementation of monetary policy in Zambia. So this experience equips me with knowledge and expertise to be able to serve as a judge on the People's President, given my experience in policy-related discussions in Zambia. So the People's President is a platform that allows us, it gives us a chance to be able to train the next crop of leaders, to build the caliber in these young people. And this cannot be much more important than now in a space where, given the recent developments in the laws governing the election of our representatives to Parliament, allowing for youths to become more active in governance issues, the People's President is that platform that allows us to strengthen the caliber of the young people that have the potential to go and serve this country in those positions. So thank you so much. Having participated in the organization of the season 1 of the People's President, I can attest to the fact that winning this competition is a life-changing opportunity that opens you for endless possibilities. And I'd like to urge all the candidates, the participants, to give it their best shot. Show us what you got from Mother Zambia, and I wish them all the best. We are looking for a president. So we are looking for someone that can connect with the people. We are looking for someone that has clarity of thought, someone that has got clear policies that we can listen to and can give us their plans in a coherent manner. But much more importantly, someone that appreciates the realities of what the Zambian people are facing, and they convince us that these are the policies that can help resolve the key issues that the people are facing.
Hi everyone, my name is Ibrahim Kamara. I'm an economist, a researcher, and a public policy analyst. My area of expertise focuses on macroeconomic policy and public finance. I'm the head of research here at the Center for Trade Policy and Development. Yeah, platforms like the People's President are important, especially for young people, because they do provide them with an opportunity to experience what leadership is like. So I think here at Center for Trade Policy and Development, we do believe leadership is a process, and young people should experience it as it is a process. So they have that opportunity where they are not only observers, or in many cases, as we have seen, many people complaining about what leadership should look like. But I think for this platform, it does provide them an opportunity to not only observe, but also contribute meaningfully and understand what it is that they are facing, discuss the pertinent issues that they believe should be handled. To the contestants, it is important that you view this process as as an opportunity. I think it's one of those processes where you look back and be proud of yourself that you did participate in the People's President. And I think what is most important is that you are honest, you are clear, and you articulate the issues properly. Obviously, you have to make it believable that you do understand what the problems are, and you bring out the issues very clearly. A good leader, a good president would be one that articulates the problems clearly, bonds with society, the people, and obviously that is what is more important for any leadership as a process. I think the qualities are clarity, honesty, and the ability to understand the problems clearly, as well as the ability to also bond with the people. Ultimately, I think it's the people who are the judges, and they are the ones that are voting. So it is really up to the contestants to see how they bond well with the people. But also, a good leader is one that is above all else, one that is honest.
Hi everyone, my name is Ruth Kangwandlovu, and I am a human rights lawyer, but specialized around the intersection of youth leadership, human rights, democracy, governance, as well as peace and security. I currently serve as the African Union Youth Ambassador for Peace, and I represent all member states within the Southern African region. The People's President platform has created more opportunity for young people to actually test ideas where they believe that they can create solutions for young people and issues that are not only affecting politics, but also national transformation and development for our country. We need more platforms such as this because young people are not just waiting to be given a platform, but young people actually want platforms where they can exhibit and show their leadership and their skill to lead. The qualities I am looking for, particularly for the contestants this year, is something very simple: yourself, self-awareness. I would want to see contestants who are able to bring up their most authentic self, not because you sound more presidential, but helping us understand your why and who you are. It is said that most leaders who want to lead and serve a people understand their purpose, their why, and why they deserve to serve the people beyond a title. First of all, I want to congratulate all contestants for actually making it this far. I think it takes a lot of courage to have stepped up for this particular platform. My simple advice to the contestants is be yourself. Be the most authentic person, not because you want to sound very presidential and use big words, but ideally show us your purpose, your why, how you propose solutions that affect the communities within your country. I would want to see participants that help us show why they need to serve, what practical solutions that they have for the national transformation of our country, but also how we now reimagine youth leadership.
All right, so there you have it. Those are our panel of judges that will help and compile 40% of the vote that will keep our contestants on the show. But for you, if you're wondering how you can be part of this voting process, well, it's very easy. We have the link available on the CTPD Facebook page. But you can also visit their website, which is ctpd.org.zm, and be part of this great show. And make sure that you're heard by voting for your favorite presidential candidate. All right, you're watching the People's President right here, brought to you by CTPD. This is now the opportunity for all our candidates to get to present to the nation the Zambia they vision, the Zambia they see. When we call up a candidate here, they'll get 4 minutes to present their manifesto. Let's welcome to the podium our first presidential candidate, Seth Landu to come and present their manifesto to us.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. My vision for Zambia is one with level opportunities for every citizen to thrive through accountable leadership and communities built on dignity, innovation, and responsibility. My priorities as head of state would be to center sustainable equity in place of progressive equality, as well as to bolster the fight against drug abuse, trafficking, and illegal trade in our country, because my administration would identify drug abuse as a threat to national security and a threat to our country's most vital resource, the youth themselves. We would also advocate for the inclusion of boy-child advocacy as a complementary movement to girl-child initiatives for holistic and progressive development for the boy and girl child of the Republic of Zambia. On economic transformation, my administration and my head of state would go on to prove that innovation hubs are necessary for communities, and we would also include vocational training as an essential part of the educational system. I strongly believe that we are a caretaker generation. So I implore the Zambian populace to choose me, Seth Landu, as the torchbearer into this new age, where inclusivity for Zambia will not only be performative, but instead goal and result oriented, because no Zambian should be left behind in the One Zambia, One Nation motto. That is my manifesto.
From your manifesto is the innovation hubs. What's the difference with the skills training hubs that we have around the country now that are being implemented through the Constituency Development Fund, the expanded one, where we have now skills training in almost every constituency that's being funded through CDF, with these innovation hubs that you're proposing, and where has this worked in the region?
So the difference between the skill-based centers that we already have in place and innovation hubs is that with the skill-based centers, there is already a fixed criteria and curriculum of what is going to be taught at those spaces. But with innovation hubs in communities, at a community scale, at a grassroots level, we can then nourish innovation amongst the youth themselves and the members of the community to bring not only new ideas that can further the agenda of Zambia as a nation, but we can also look to communities in countries like Botswana, where innovation has been encouraged amongst the youths. We can also look to groups like Zimbabwe.
Well, Mr. President, I'd like to thank you very much for sharing your manifesto and answering those few questions. All right, this is the People's President, and joining us next on the podium is Madam President Ellen Chiyoowa, who is joining us to present her manifesto. Remember that the theme is the Zambia I See. Now, Ellen will have 4 minutes to present to you, the Zambian people, her manifesto, and we'll get to hear what she plans. Well, Ellen, the time starts now.
To every worker, every family, and every community holding this country together, I am Ellen Chiyoowa, your incoming People's President 2026. Now, I don't just say incoming as a statement, but as a foreshadowing of the future. So let's discuss the wrongs that I will right and the problems that I will fix. Firstly, let's go to Kabwe. Picture this: students in a classroom learning, well and good. There's free education. But wait a minute. Children in Kabwe are considered slow learners. But why? Lead pollution. In June 2026, the mayor of Kabwe himself stated that children in Kabwe are now retarded because of lead pollution and lead poisoning, because of lack of environmental protection, lack of enforcement of laws, and lack of accountability, which I intend to address. How should I attend this? By enforcing and reinforcing government efforts, not only medically, but holding accountability mechanisms in place to address this violation of human rights. Let's go back. Many challenges that we face today can be solved through systemic changes in governance. As a president, as a servant, it is my job to improve livelihoods. It is my job to serve, as well as to serve in emergency situations. This can be done by providing a free on-call emergency services that are not only efficient and effective, but not donor funded. We can only reimagine Zambia's future if we stop and look at the things that are holding us back. Through the environment, through governance, through the economy, and through research and development. These 4 things remain. As I remain Ellen Chiyoowa, your People's President 2026. So help me, help you, and make me your People's President. I thank you.
Madam President, thank you for your presentation. How do your solutions of these emergency health services help the young children in Kabwe with your proposition?
Okay, so when I was bringing about the proposition of emergency services, I was talking about systematic change, how the government is addressing people's well-being when they're in an emergency. But in the situation of Kabwe, what I was suggesting is that there's lack of accountability and the government isn't really taking as much action as they should. We have environmental laws, we have the Environmental Act, we have specific laws that are in place that prohibit environmental pollution, but nothing is being done to the extent that it should be. That's why in my manifesto, I clearly stated that I would do this by enforcing government efforts, not only medically, because again, the children in Kabwe are suffering, the females in Kabwe are suffering, the males in Kabwe are suffering, and also ensure accountability mechanisms so that never happens again.
All right, Madam President, we'd like to thank you very much for your presentation.
Okay, thank you so much for having me.
You're watching the People's President right here, and we're joined by another candidate that is here to share his dream for this country. Under the theme, the Zambia I See. He's here to share his vision. His name is Isaac Chama, and he's here to share his manifesto with us. Well, Mr. President, your 4 minutes starts now.
Thank you. The strongest governments are not those that speak the loudest, but are those that listen the most. My fellow Zambians, a good afternoon to you. The Bembas say, one finger cannot effectively pick lice. It is no secret that no nation develops by the efforts of one single person. Governments need citizens, citizens need institutions, and institutions need trust. And this trust can only be built if each and every citizen is given the chance to have a meaningful voice in the shaping of their future. That is the Zambia that I envision. I seek to build a Zambia, or rather a nation, where government listens before it leads, and where progress is achieved through genuine partnership with its people. My fellow Zambians, ever since I have been in this country, I have had one pivotal question at the back of my head. And this question is, why do some nations transform opportunity into prosperity while others struggle, regardless of possessing the enormous potential? Take, for example, Rwanda, which is a country that has risen to be one of the greatest or one of the fastest growing economies after just incurring a tragedy. Take, for example, Dubai, which is literally a country that has moved from desert settlement to becoming one of the biggest global centers of commerce. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if we look at Zambia, Zambia has vast potential. So the problem then will not be that Zambia lacks potential, but rather Zambia has a challenge of transforming that potential into prosperity. And this transformation can only begin if we improve our systems. So I am not here to promise a miracle, but I'm here to propose something much more sustainable. Ladies and gentlemen, we should fix our systems in order to shape our nation. To begin with, governance. The first challenge in governance is that too many citizens feel disconnected from decisions that directly affect their lives. It is no secret to say a farmer understands farming the best. It is no secret to say a teacher understands education and a doctor understands healthcare. But more often than not, policies are made fully without not consulting effectively from these people who are in these areas. Now, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, it is important that we formulate a government that is indeed participatorily efficient. So my solution to this problem is having a participatory governance. Governance which begins with listening before the government leads, and governance that relies on understanding the people that are being led. It is with that I invite you, yes, you sitting right there, to join me as we form a government that does not only work for the people, but a government that works with the people. My name is Isaac Chama. Thank you, and may God bless Zambia.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. President. A few questions from what you've just presented to us in your manifesto. You said you want to fix, governance in this country and how things are done. Something that stood out is public participation. Currently, there is a portal, online portal, where you can lodge a complaint and speak to government directly if you have a complaint, and they'll get back to you. They'll give you a number. There'll be emails that will be traded back and forth, and there's that form of governance in our country right now where you can directly speak to government and they'll track your complaint. What are you proposing that is different from what we already have now? How would you make public participation better than it is today?
Thank you very much, Mr. Zulu. So to begin with, this portal has been in existence, and very recently we had a bill that pulled over 11,000 complaints or 11,000 suggestions, which was considered to be a milestone. But when you look at Zambia's population, that is over 20 million, and the 11,000 that participated, it simply doesn't add up. And this means to say, as the government, we have a problem that we're not looking into. Legitimacy is not merely going to come through by providing this social media platform or this portal where we can complain, but it will come in if we equip people with understanding what exactly they are voting for. People from far distances don't even understand to say they have a right to shape the law as it is. They don't understand to say they have the right to at least have a voice when laws are being made. What they believe is that laws are supposed to be imposed by them and they should follow them. That's it. So aside from that portal, we need to make sure that we have consultation by educating people, putting maybe laws in language that is understandable to even my grandmother in Chinsali. We need to make sure to say these people are contacted from all sources of life. We need to talk to traditional leaders, churches, the youths, and we need to try our level best to have that participation.
Well, Mr. President, thank you very much for sharing your manifesto and answering our questions.
Thank you very much, Mr. Zulu.
All right, thank you very much. You're watching The People's President, and joining us is our next presidential candidate. Her name is Mukuka Zulu. Now, Mukuka Zulu is here to share her vision for Zambia. She's here to win you over with her policies. The theme of her manifesto is the Zambia I See. Let's see if we can see the vision in her manifesto. Madam President, your 4 minutes starts now.
Before we venture into this journey together, I'd like us to just think for a moment. It's been 62 years since Zambia has gained its independence, 7 presidents later. Yet, every 5 years we seem to hear the same promises. The question now arises, why do we always need to have the same problem solved? The solution is simple. Our democracy is founded entirely on personalities and not institutions. Every strong democracy has strong institutions that govern its politics. So here with me today is a blueprint and not a pipe dream of what it's going to take for Zambia to develop politically, socially, and economically. I would like to advise that my government and I have taken time to properly stipulate what it is exactly that this country needs. And first on our agenda is political party institutionalization. In the recent past, we have seen multiple political parties mushrooming, coming up, and after elections dying down. The result? Voter apathy. We see multiple presidential candidates stand up, and right after elections, they join the incumbents. What does this mean for the regular Zambian? It means your trust in your political system is reduced. This means that we do not have institutionalized political parties that you can count on to carry the vision of Zambia forward. We are going to ensure, once given the mandate, that political parties are institutionalized. We will ensure that every political party is registered and ensure that we implement strict procedures for you to be able to move from your political party to the next. Next on our agenda is to ensure we create strong institutions. We want to ensure that we lessen however much power that the president has in electing, for example, chairpersons of the Electoral Commission of Zambia, because then the question arises, if you do elect a person that is supposed to ensure that electoral processes are carried out fairly and equitably, does that mean then that their tenure is guaranteed if they provide a ruling that is against your actions.
Thank you, Madam President, for your presentation. Why would you want to do something different that would rather stifle our young democracy by restricting people on having this sort of way of vetting which political party has a right to exist?
That is not the point. Political party institutionalization means you are creating institutions that political parties can be governed by. I'll give you an example. Every time we have had an election, every president that has left political power or political office, that political party has died down, no matter how prominent. Why? It is because political parties are based on personality and not on institutions. We are trying to take away the problem of basing an entire political system on a personality. Because if the personality dies, if the personality leaves power, that political party should still be able to stand the tests of time. That is what a clear democracy and a successful democracy is about.
Madam President, I'd like to thank you very much for presenting your manifesto for us today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'd like to just make one last call. I would like everybody to just think of how well this country has been represented as far as jobs and as far as meeting our basic needs have been. I would advise that we vote for a government that is going to ensure that we have, one, a wealth within the country that is not going to be taken away by a foreign investor, and we have skills that our people are going to be imparted with to be able to carry on the vision of Zambia.
Zambia is a country with potential to create jobs, provide opportunities, as well as feed its people. Countrymen and women, my name is Botha Emmanuel, presenting myself as the 2026 People's President. I'm here to speak to the marketeers, the civil servants, the farmers, the students, the entrepreneurs, and all the hardworking citizens that contribute to the growth of this country. I'm here to present my three-pillar manifesto, which is focusing on economic growth, serving the people, as well as good governance. To start with, allow me to talk about a very important factor in national development, which is economic growth as the first pillar. My government intends to increase the production of maize under the agricultural sector to 10 million metric tons by supporting farmers in Mukushi, Serenje, Southern Province, as well as Eastern Province. For the mining sector, my government wishes to establish mineral processing plants to process our minerals like copper, cobalt, gold, as well as lithium. By 2031, we intend to create over 3 million jobs. Now, economic growth must translate into improving the livelihoods of the people. That is why serving the people is my second pillar. My government is saying, whether a citizen is in Shangombo, Lundazi, Kasempa, it is a responsibility of government to make sure that all the citizens receive good health care services as well as good quality education. A citizen should not move from Kasempa, Solwezi, or Kasama to visit the provincial headquarters simply to access an NRC or a driver's license. And this is how my government wishes to bring its services closer to the people of Zambia.
Mr. Botha, you are proposing in your manifesto that you create 3 million jobs. How will this work?
Immediately we enter into office, we shall focus on the key sectors of the economy. Number one, I highlighted how the agriculture sector is going to help us to create jobs through farming, food processing, exports. And for the mining sector, we highlighted how value addition is going to be done by the establishment of plants processing, by plants which will be processing our minerals. And I do believe that through value addition, we'll be able to create jobs, skills development, as well as improve revenue for our country in the long run.
So joining us on the podium here for the People's President is Margaret Namukanzye, who wants to lead this nation, and she's here to present the vision for Zambia. The Zambia that she sees. She's here to share a vision Well, Margaret, you have 4 minutes to convince the Zambian people with your manifesto. Your time starts now.
Greetings, my fellow Zambians. Future generations will look back at this pivotal moment in Zambia's history and ask us a simple but important question. What did we do when our nation had the opportunity to transform itself? Will we say that we watched our resources leave our borders without capturing their full values, exported jobs and opportunities that would have belonged to our young people, that our families could barely afford meals because the cost of living was too high? Citizens, our vision is to build a Zambia that competes confidently on the international stage through our 5 pillars: agriculture industrialization, mining transformation, quality healthcare and education, resource mobilization, and youth inclusion. Citizens, we acknowledge the progress that has been made in Zambia's mining sector, including the reopening of Mopani copper mine. However, after decades of mining, over 70% of our copper still leaves our country without value addition, costing us jobs, revenue, and opportunities that comes with industrialization. Citizens, as we work toward achieving a 3 million metric tons of copper production by 2031, my government will implement a national mineral value addition policy to ensure that more of our minerals are processed here in Zambia, targeting 40% of Zambia's copper to undergo value addition before export by 2031. To achieve this, we'll create a competitive investment environment through targeted tax incentives, boosting the energy sector, and duty exemption for machinery used for processing. We will leverage the Luvito corridor, continue supporting our small miners. Citizens, the agriculture sector. Behind every meal on our table is the hard work of a farmer. Citizens, Zambia has recorded a historic maize harvest of 4.9, clearly showing us that our next goal is wealth creation. We will launch an agro-value processing initiative in partnership with the Ministry of Small and Medium Enterprises to support agro-businesses. Macro objective, citizens, we will create 2 million jobs, double Zambia's GDP, maintain an inflation rate of 6% and ensure that we sustain our debt and continue to grow our reserves. Zambia will be prosperous. Together we can and we will deliver. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Madam President. Please give us your plan. What is your actual plan to actually get us to producing 3 million metric tons and have an energy sector that can back up a mining sector and the industrialization that you'd like to see or have under administration backed by this energy? Where is the plan?
All right, thank you, Peter, for that question. I must say, I was waiting for that question. So you can see that Zambia has targeted a 3 million metric tons of copper production for some time now. But however, we can't meet the projection. So it is for this reason that when we continue with the same policies that we have, it will be impossible for us to attain the 3 million metric tons of copper. Therefore, my government has come up with, my government has clearly articulated and stated that we will make sure that we bring about tax incentives and duty exemption when it comes to machinery used in copper mining. This is one of the measures that we'll put in place so that we reach a 3 million metric tons of copper production. Then the other thing is investors come in countries when they have confidence. So we'll make sure that investors are confident enough to invest in our country, Zambia. And that is one of the other ways that will bring about 3 million metric tons of copper production.
Madam President, we'd like to thank you very much for presenting your manifesto to us today.
All right, thank you.
My name is Maxwell Banda. Countrymen and women, this is my vision for this country. I am not here to talk about your problems because you already live them today. What I'm here to do is to give power back to the Zambian people. Now today I'll tell you this. This country's farmers had one of the best harvests of their lives. Yet 5% of that falls and spoils before it ever reaches a plate. This continent spends and writes a check of about $65 billion every single year in food exports. We are here to tell you that that is not necessary because we have enough resources to produce our own food, to process our own food, and to make this nation great again by providing that Zambian stamp in everything we find in our supermarkets. This nation, during the drought, saw households witnessing over 20 hours of load shedding. that shouldn't happen in one of the sunniest countries on earth. Morocco did it. We can do it too because we use the same sun. We want to introduce the SunZ solar system, where we loan out solar systems to businesses and households that feed back to the national grid. This is what we want to do for the nation. We want to be a nation that is independent when it comes to its health. For so long, our data, our health, and our patients have been used as a bargaining chip. Recently, $2 billion deal failed because we were a conversation in a negotiation. We want to introduce a national health sovereignty fund that funds our health using our own minerals to ensure that the Zambian name or the Zambian patient is never a bargaining chip. The diplomatic service by law should be formalized as career-based. It will no longer be used as a political reward system. And once we do this, we will be giving power to the Zambian people. My name is Maxwell Banda, and where the doom of a nation can only be averted by a storm of burning passion, and we are the burning passion.
Mr. Banda, in your manifesto, you propose that SunZ solar system, which is something that is similar to what ZESCO is currently doing with net metering. Tell us how this is different from the proposition that's already being offered by ZESCO.
So the biggest difference is this. If I buy a solar system, right, I have the option to connect it to the grid and feed into the nation. But how many Zambians are currently affording that solar system? This is why our scheme is a rent to own, where we give these solar systems to the Zambians, to the businesses, to ensure that they continue running their businesses, they continue powering their homes while feeding back to the national grid, also assisting them to pay back that loan.
Well, this time around, we're joined by Esther Zulu, who is going to present her manifesto under the theme, The Zambia I See. Let's see what vision she has for Zambia. Well, Madam President, you have 4 minutes to convince the Zambian people of your vision. Your 4 minutes starts now.
My fellow Zambians, today I present a vision for a Zambia where opportunity reaches every district, where integrity guides each and every decision, and where each citizen has a chance to thrive. We are going to talk of youth empowerment and employment. Now, as the People's President, we understand to say that the largest percentage of Zambia's population are the youths. Hence, we aim at empowering the youths in different sectors, since we believe to say that if we invest in youths, we are going to stand at a higher percentage of us creating a social stability and strengthening our economy. So how do we plan on doing that? Firstly, we are going to improve the education and skill training system by updating school curriculum, including digital skills, financial literacy, entrepreneurship, and problem solving. Now, my fellow Zambians, this initiative is going to aim at educating the pupils who are in secondary school to be equipped with the skill that they need. We all understand to say that at this point, the world is evolving. We are going into a generation of technology. Hence, we want to equip these pupils at a stage where they are young before they enter into society. Because as the People's President, we target at creating the largest percentage of Zambia's population to become job creators instead of job seekers. And so as the government, if you elect me as your People's President government, we are going to bring about storage for...
Your time is up. Your time is up, Madam President. Thank you very much for your presentation. Here's my question to you. You speak passionately about a lot of youth programs that you'd like to implement. All right. Please just give us an example of a youth-based program that you'd want to implement as your government, because you only highlighted to us that you have empowerment programs. What kind of empowerment programs do you want to implement?
Thank you so much for that question. So one of the programs that we are going to invest as my government is that we're going to educate youths from different regions in Zambia. You know, there are places where there's an information gap. Some people don't tend to receive the kind of information that they need for different opportunities that are put up by the country. So we're going to carry out different programs that are going to educate the youth of our nation on how best they can be empowered and how best they can access the help that they need in our nation.
Madam President, I'd like to thank you very much for coming through and presenting your manifesto. You're watching the People's President right here, and we have our next contestant. The next man to pitch his idea to you, the Zambian people, under the theme, the Zambia I See. We want to see his vision and his manifesto. His name is Wise Man Daka. Well, Mr. Daka, you have 4 minutes to present your manifesto. Your time starts now.
Greetings, countrymen, women, and the youth. My name is Wise Man Daka, and today I stand before you the responsibility of addressing our nation as I present my manifesto as your president. But before I proceed, allow me to pay my deepest condolences to the Vice President, former Dr. Lindsay Guy Scott. May his soul rest in peace, and may God continue to comfort the nation and the family. Countrymen and women, when we form government, this manifesto is not only our blueprint for development, but our tailored design for transforming lives and achieving the Zambia we deserve. Under the theme, Reimagining Zambia's Future Through Youth Leadership for Inclusive Governance and National Transformation, our first priority is economic transformation, under which, in support to mining, agriculture will become the backbone of our economic diversification through climate-smart farming and solar-powered irrigation to promote year-round production for local consumption and international exportation to meet nutritional and food security. Countrymen and women, as your president, we shall increase investment in local agro-processing, reform the FISI program to respond to regional farming conditions through soil testing and scientific research, just so we can transform the food system and create green jobs for our youths. Therefore, if we are to invest in our people will build the Zambia we all desire, and this is the Zambia we deserve through this manifesto. In the spirit of one Zambia, one nation, allow me to say, may God bless Zambia, and may God bless each one of you as you vote for Wise Man Daka as your people's president. I submit. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Daka. Thank you for your submission. Quickly, just to jump into your manifesto here, you said you want to, when you touched on health, you also touched a bit on education. You said you want to raise the patient-doctor ratio. You also want to raise the teacher-pupil ratio. Currently, we have free education. We've seen that our schools are overcrowded, but this is a good problem to have, they say. Better in the streets than, better in the schools than in the streets, they say. That's been the debate. How do you, what's your plan in making sure that you raise this teacher-pupil ratio, and what's your target?
Okay, so when I stand here, I'm no master, but only a servant of the people. Hence, the agenda of meeting the teacher-to-pupil ratio is an agenda which we shall meet by making sure we recruit a good number of teachers to meet the number of students whom we are currently enrolling under the free education law.
What's your target?
The target goes beyond the numbers, because if you look at Zambia's population, we are currently sitting at 19 million people in terms of population. Hence, if we are to employ a good number of teachers, meaning we need to go above 5,000, because there are a lot of universities that graduate yearly a number of these trained personnel in the education sector, in the health sector, and other sectors.
What's the current deficit with the teacher-pupil ratio, Mr. President?
The deficit, you find that 67 pupils being taught by one teacher. That is absurd as a nation, especially that 61 years post-independence, we're still relying on that ratio. It's a big deficit.
All right, you're watching The People's President, and we have been listening to manifestos from different presidential aspirants. Joining us on the podium is Emily Nalwamba, who's going to be presenting her manifesto to you, the Zambian people, based on the theme, the Zambia I See. Well, Emily, welcome. You have 4 minutes to convince the Zambian people. Your time starts now.
Fellow citizens, countrymen and women, Zambia is a country that has faced a number of social and economic challenges, including rising debt, unemployment, and healthcare crisis, as well as energy. We also have problems such as unemployment. I believe before we enter into this discussion, it is imperative to understand Zambia's economic model. The first up phase of Zambia's economic model presents quite a number of opportunities because this involves economic stability. And this economic stability is already into implementation as we have seen government stabilizing the economy through restructuring debt as well as managing inflation. We've also gone further to understand that there's a great debate among Zambian citizens trying to understand why is it that the cost of living is not matching up to the rate of inflation. We also move on to the second phase, which is also very promising, expansion of the economy. How do we expand the economy? We make sure that we boost local businesses and trade. We make sure that we encourage entrepreneurship and supply them with adequate energy because we saw how much that affected the small businesses and enterprises, from the barber shops, the salons, the restaurants. Load shedding is a big challenge that needs to be sorted out and needs to be worked on with much needed attention. Of course, we move forward to the last stage of the economic agenda, which is bridging the gap of inequality. Again, we go back to the same question, which is why is the rate of inflation not equal to the price of commodities, day-to-day necessities? Why is an ordinary Zambian not able to feel the impact of this economic growth? So in this case, we still continue on the trajectory of making sure that the most arguable solution to this is increasing productivity and making sure that government is able to provide incentives or is able to provide mechanisms that cushion the burden of the Zambian people, inclusive of a free education as a law and similar policies.
Well, thank you for your presentation. What's your plan, if elected as the people's president, in making sure that we remain on this trajectory and we don't incur more debt? What's your strategy?
I think one of the basics as to why countries borrow, or the reason why they require external financial assistance, is to bridge up the gaps in their financial reports, or I would say bridge up the gaps in their budgets. But for us, what we're looking at is the fact that Zambia is blessed with a vast majority of natural resources as well as minerals. So it's important that we move to add value to that and not just merely export our raw materials on cheap global prices. And also it's important that in regards to how we balance update and of course going hand in hand with other economic factors such as inflation, these things can only be solved arguably when there's much productivity on the market. That means we move from a consumer-based mindset to more of a producer. So it means we need to add value to all our key sectors: agriculture, manufacturing, tourism, mining, and so that we may be able to generate much GDP.
All right, there you have it. That was Madam Emily Nalwamba presenting her manifesto to us. This is the People's President. Well, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. You've met your 10 contestants, you've heard their manifestos, and then now it's entirely up to you and the judges. 40% from the judges, 60% from you. What you need to do is head on to the CTPD website and vote. That's ctpd.org.zm. Place your vote, or you can use Facebook. There's a link that's available. Click on the link and vote for your favorite candidate to keep them on the show. Because next time, in episode 3, we'll be saying goodbye to 4 contestants. 4 contestants have to say goodbye and go home. So make sure you place your votes for your favorite contestants to keep them on the People's President. Until next week, it's goodbye for now. Until I see you, I'll be saying goodbye to the 4 candidates.